Welcome back to the Raw Mind Talk. My name is Kadna, and in studios I have AMIYA Rihanna ADUBANGO. She is the current guild president of Vieana College. I repeat, Vieana College. And we have had a conversation. She's telling us about her life journey. And remember, at the Raw Mind Talk, what we do is to listen, scoop principles that you can use out there to better up yourself or to better those around you. So she has shared with us her journey of leadership. She started at 9 years, where she became a writer's prefect, and now she transited and did other things, did sports, MDD. Now she's going to tell us in this episode what happened during COVID and how the results came, how did she receive them, and then what next, where did she go, and why did she choose to go to that place. So Rihanna, tell us. You finish COVID, no, you're in COVID, you do what you have to do, you go sit the exams. Now, how were the exams by then? Before even the results came, how did you judge yourself?
I think upon returning to school after lockdown, I was doing quite well, quite
Yeah.
normally on comparison to how I was before. Like I was still top of the class, and yeah, I've still found it quite easy to perform highly academically. So for the POE results, POE was quite smooth. I think the only subject that I kind of found hard was math, but I still didn't find it hard to the extent I expected not to pass it highly. So, upon my results coming back, I had aggregate 8, which is 2 2 2 2 in each subject because we did 4. So, I was a highly disappointed, not even a bit, but highly. And I could see that my parents weren't happy as well because this was actually such an underperformance. And it came so abruptly because seeing yourself go from being such an outstanding student to underperforming to such an extent was scary.
So that was your worst earned mark in primary.
Yeah, basically.
So most cases you'd have an aggregate of what?
4.
4.
Yeah. Because we did
Wow.
pre-mocks and I got 4 a number of times. I think like thrice or 4 times.
So it had become the new normal.
It was the normal. It was a norm
Until
from
you
the
never
beginning of
shook
primary.
you, PLO it shook you up and showed you that really there's
Yeah.
something that was wrong.
And they don't really show you like your raw mark. They
Yeah.
just told you got distinction too. So with all the results, it was so much for me to take in. And I basically told my mom because I was a bit disappointed. So I was like, I can't spend, let's say, 7 to 10 years preparing for a final only to do well in all the 7 years and then underperform in the final. So I
You
was
drop at the finish
very,
line.
yeah, very discouraged. So I told my mom that I would like to switch curriculums because I was like,
You're very disappointed in the traditional.
in the traditional, because I was like, what's the point of being put on pressure to be the best and then at the exact finish line
You
all of
break.
it goes away. So I told
But
my mom that
while sitting the exams,
mm,
after the exams, did you feel like you had done something in your mind? Because often in time we do exams and you get yourself in like, okay, I may not get excellent marks, but I'll fall in between there. What was your perception like? If somebody had met you then and asked you, okay, Rihanna, tell us, how many do you expect to get? What would have been your answer?
I think I did really well. Like it was normal. Like
Yeah,
because for me, papers being easy was now the new normal for
yeah,
me,
yeah.
for the type of person I was. So PO wasn't anything unusual. It wasn't difficult. I said I only found math a bit hard, but still not to the extent I expected to fail. So I worst case scenario expected I would get about aggregate 6, which means
6
2 distinction ones and then let's say 2
in
distinction
math.
twos.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So that was worst case scenario. So that's something I expected worst case scenario, and even best case scenario I didn't meet that. So that can
So
show
worst
you
case
how.
scenario was 6, and the
Yeah,
worst came as 8. So how
exactly.
did you feel when those results came out?
I was actually devastated. I still that moment replays in my head like once in a while.
Did you go to pick them with closed fingers? You're like,
No,
let me
like
see what.
this time we were at home, so we had to send a code to SMS for you to see your
Technology.
results. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I saw them with my mom, and my mom also wasn't like evidently the happiest, but she still had to
Wait a
support your
minute,
child.
Rihanna. Wait a minute.
Mm.
Did you subscribe or search them when mom was at home, or
Yeah.
she did when at office and came and told you? You were all done. You're like, let's put in the codes and
Yeah,
blah
we
blah.
were at home together. It was just me and my mom. So, yeah, it was a
Pressure was
devastating
rising.
moment. Yeah,
She puts in, you keep waiting, or you're all looking at the screen.
we were both looking at it together. So, like,
Did it?
yeah, when it came, it was like a moment of confusion,
You all went
everything.
silent.
Yeah, silence. But I don't know, it really is a learning moment. So I pick out just the life lesson out of it, not
Yeah.
any sort of trauma.
Yeah.
And yeah, these are the moments that built me to become the person I am today. So at least I can just say I'm grateful for
You're
having
grateful.
the experience.
Yeah.
And
But
either way, it isn't even terrible.
but tell me, I still want that moment. There is, you're all looking, you put in the index number, results come, who turned, who spoke first, what did they say? Because that
Ah,
that's what I want to scoop out of that moment.
I can say I was shocked, but like
Mhm.
shocked in a sense of silence. Like the silence would reflect on how shocked I was.
Yeah.
Same with my mom. Like we both didn't say anything for a really long time. But then
You looked at each
you know,
other
we
just.
was asking each other like what happened. She's asking me, I'm also asking her. And then there's this,
Like she sat the exams with you or for
yeah,
you.
because my mom, I don't know, through you know when you get used to seeing your child perform to a
Excel,
certain
yeah.
level, it also confuses you when they underperform to such
True.
an extent, because this was something very unusual.
Yeah.
So the whole experience of it was just terrible. So me and my mom were just silent and like, yeah, but like at least I'm glad that we got to move past it, and yeah, it helped me want to get to that switch of curriculum, because now Vienna was offering a summer program.
Okay.
Whereby despite schools being closed, they had the option to let you join year 8, which is like the equivalent of Form 1, but whilst doing an online program. So when physical school starts, you just start off from where
From where
you had stopped.
So did you have somebody at Vienna? How did you come to get to know Vienna?
I think I heard about it from a friend
From
who
a
had
friend.
talked about
Yeah.
switching to Cambridge after finishing primary 7. So I could see that even through like social media, I could see that some people were doing like online courses at Vienna. So when POE finally came out, I had this like idea, this thought that these first traces that I had placed in the ENAB curriculum, first of all, they weren't opening anytime soon. And I just had a gut feeling I wasn't going to get in with my 8, because my mom had warned me, you know how you don't have connections in that school.
So
I
which
think
school was
my first choice was Gayaza
Gayaza.
High School. And like, yeah, you don't have connections and you really need to stand out with like an aggregate 4 if you want your best shot at getting in. So I knew that wasn't something. I just had a gut feeling. So I was like, meanwhile, it would take about now 3 months to see the application lists for those schools. And I was doing nothing at home. And Vienna's program was just starting, because it was like an August intake and this was late July. So I applied to Vienna through one of my friend's moms. Yeah, my mom had a friend and her daughter had switched also from now Gayaza to Vienna. And just seeing that whole aspect of people switching from such
the traditional
schools to Cambridge, I felt like it would be something that my parents would be down for, at least down to experiment, because either way my brothers were still doing the traditional system, so it was like it wouldn't hurt for one child to switch.
So you had a conversation with your mom about switching. How did the conversation go? Did she buy into the idea? Did she first be resistant? Did she ask you for more information? How did it go? So that's somebody out there who feels like, not necessarily to go to Vienna, but you want to switch in any system. How do you tell the story? How do you tell that narrative to your parent?
My parents, one good thing about them is that they choose to be open-minded about situations without being biased. They gave me the alternative to start at Vienna while keeping the traditional schools at the back of my head. Like, it was about 4 months until their admission list came out. So she was like, you can continue at Vienna, you can start there and go through their online program until the end of the term. And upon completion, when those lists come out from the traditional schools, if you're on it, then it's up to you, because they give me that freedom as well. It's up to you to choose if you want to, go back to the traditional curriculum and join the school that accepted you, or you can just stay in Vienna and finish your high school there. So I did finish the online term because this was year 8. I finished that term, and at the end of the term, the admission list came out, and I wasn't on them. I wasn't on the list.
Another disappointment.
Yeah, so I just stayed in Vienna because now it was actually the only
The
option
only
left.
option you had.
Yeah,
Yes.
and a lot of parents tend to have this perception that Cambridge and most international schools aren't good for your child. But I feel like Vienna has changed that perspective, even with my parents, because my parents were a bit skeptical about if they should let me stay and what effects it will have on me as a person. But I think right now they speak so highly of the school. They always encourage people to let their children switch if they're thinking about it. So it's something that I gained from experience. Yeah. And yeah, I'm glad that I was able to change my parents' perspective on Cambridge schools as well.
Yeah, one thing I pick from AMIYA is that often in time in life, you need to have a vision and a goal. She was transiting, or she had finished her PLE, and she was there sitting, waiting for results to come and find where she should be deployed, if I may use that word. And for her, it was not just sitting. Now she was having conversation with other people, and Vienna came into place, and also looking at her first choice being Gayaza, and the marks coming out, and within her she felt, okay, they may not take me because actually mom says no connections, so you have to be all by yourself. And she took up the initiative and looked out and had to convince the parents so they can let her go, and of which they really did. One thing we have to learn from this is that nobody will make the way for you. You need to first know where you're going, make the way, so whoever comes to support you should find you already moving towards that direction of which you want to go in. Many of us, times, we want people to make the way, even when they don't know where we are going. So we throw it up to them and say, okay, my parents will decide. No, it is your future. Have a way. Sit, have a conversation. Try to convince them and tell them why you want what you want. And in there, they will listen and they will help you achieve or go to that way that you want to do or go to. Now, you talk to your parents. They accept you. You enter Vienna. Did you find friends there? Did you have new? Did you now enter so green, like a new territory? You don't know anybody and just started creating friends and building yourself out there. Tell us your first experience at Vienna.
So, as I told you, with COVID-19's lockdown came my first exposure to social media. So surprisingly, I had made a few friends on
From
this
Vienna.
social media, that I found when I joined Vienna.
Oh.
So it was very interesting because it was like I knew them, but then not realistically, but virtually. So now this gave me a chance to build friendships now, like in real life and not virtually. So that was a new experience of its own. So I did have friends. I had a few that were also in KJA and also went to Vienna. And yeah, like from there, that was like a foundation. So it was like a building blocks for like my social life, because I'm actually a really social person. So right now I can say my social life at Vienna is at its peak because I can be interacting with anyone as a year 13 and I'm interacting with a year 7. Renal happens to be my cousin, but besides that, his friends, I get to interact with them on several occasions. Literally anyone throughout any class, any staff member, they all know who I am. And like, yeah, basically the one benefit, or one of the benefits that exposure to social media gave me was a foundation to build a social life, with which has helped me get to the point that I'm at today, like as a leader and people trusting me and people being familiar with who I am. So joining Vienna, despite being social, I was also simultaneously very intimidated by new things, and I was very reserved. Like I wasn't as I am today. I was scared to try new things. I wasn't even into leadership, nothing like that. I was scared to restart all the sports that I had dropped. I was basically so scared of new things. I think because I was young, and this was like high school. So it is me in high school for the first time, and there's so many older people, and I'm not sure like how to navigate it properly. But the best part about it is over the 3 years, my life has changed drastically. because of the opportunities the school has given me, I became more social. I learned to prioritize the right things. You know, we have a church program for both Catholics and Protestants. So I, who's Catholic, got to learn to work around in church. As I grew, most of the elder students pulled out, like they graduated. So now it left you with this sense of responsibility of someone was handling this and now they've graduated. So if you don't do it, who's going to do it?
Yes,
so because of that, and the sense of people trusting you, because now I got to learn how to prioritize the right things, like my spiritual welfare, how active you are in church, and how this builds your discipline, and how this helps you navigate multiple aspects of your education. I learned how to prioritize my education. And the good thing about Vienna is that it does have role models. The one thing that I do believe is vital for the upcoming generation is who their role models are, who is set out in the media, in schools, at home,
family level.
Who is your role model? Whoever your role model is, I feel like drastically influences these children.
Absolutely.
And I feel like it's something that people need to understand, because I understood it early enough, and because of that, it influences how I act. With everything I do, I think about how would this influence someone younger than me who's seeing me. Because for me to get to a point where I'm at today, in a world of leadership and actively wanting to learn more and be more active in society, it came through me looking at people who are older than me when I was younger and how well they would do things. Like, let's say, I would like to give this example. I love to give it all the time. But when I was in year 10, because I'm year 13 now, but when I was in year 10, there came a girl who stood for guild presidency. And there were about 5 aspirants, but all of them are boys, and she was the only female. Her name is Bernice. So Bernice stood and won. And throughout my years in Vienna, that was my first time ever seeing a female guild president. And now, what's interesting was she was the second in history. She kept mentioning this in her campaign. You know, I aim to be the second guild president and a second female guild president and all that. So to see Bernice win was something that drastically changed the whole trajectory of female empowerment in Vienna. And it's like one of my biggest motivations, because had I not seen Bernice win, I wouldn't even know that a female can run for guild president. So on top of that, she was also academically brilliant. She came first in her finals twice. She was the valedictorian while she was graduating. So to see someone be able to balance academics and having the highest leadership position in school, such role models are what paves the way for the upcoming generation. So this is something that I try to incorporate into my experience upon everything I do. Set a good example, hold your high moral standards, everything that you do, knowing that there's people looking up to you, and they're going to actively use this in their high school experience. So this is something that Vienna has taught me, and Vienna gave me the best role models I could ever ask for, because now upon everything I do, even being guild president now or being an academic achiever, I just think back to all the role models that the school gave me when I was younger, be it in year 9 or year 10. And I just aim to be this person and replicate all that for the upcoming Vienna generations. So all of this is what really paved the way for me as a leader in Vienna. And I'm just grateful to be at the point that I'm at now. Because on the way to year 11, I saw finals coming up again, and I always think back and remember that that landslide that I fell into, and I ended up not performing as highly as I wanted. And I just made sure that that was something I never wanted to repeat again. So this is something that would push me to work harder and harder and harder in everything that I did, aiming to get the best results I could ever imagine. And truly, after learning how to, let's say, sacrifice, like, let's say, some hours of sleep, or sacrifice, let's say, social media, because I learned to put it to the side. Put it to the side. You learn how to control your screen time, because now this is something like you grow up and you see the negative effects it has onto your productivity. So to be able to get a hold of your productivity by cutting off distractions such as screen time. And there's this concept called doom scrolling on TikTok. Yeah.
I've heard about it.
Continuous scrolling with no positive effect to your brain. And instead, you can actually turn that into finding ways to use social media to the best of your advantage, finding ways to boost your curiosity, learn new things every day through social media. Instead of doom scrolling and learning nothing, you can find ways to turn this into an advantage and an upper hand. So this is something that I try in everything that I do. I look up new things, new people to look up to. So many things on social media that are there, but people don't really notice them. So it's up to us to find them and use them to the best of our advantage. So changing the way you use social media, changing your screen time, cutting off distractions. This is all part of being disciplined. Yeah,
yes.
which is something that I said is the key to success. So to be able to tune in your inner disciplined self and, you know, focus on the goal, prioritize the right things in your life, your spiritual welfare, and yeah, just be disciplined in everything that you do. And like, you get to see how this helps you in the end, because now, aside all that, I was able to put aside all my distractions, and at the end of year 11, I get to receive the best results I could possibly ever imagine, because this exceeded my expectations.
Yeah,
as well.
now that is coming up to in our next discussion, but I want to scoop out some things that I've really learned from Reina. You know, we talk about the 3 levels of influence. Many of us know when you're leading people, but that is not even in the levels of influence. The first she has talked about, the first level of influence is the first level on how you deal with your creator. And you've heard her spiritual life, her spiritual warfare, how she entered Vienna, now she went into those different religions, Anglicans, then Catholics. But first she's Catholic, so she went there. She anchored herself in her religion and learned what it is for her to relate with her own God. That is the first level of influence. The second level of influence is how you relate with the environment, the people around you, your family, your friends. Now we are into a digital world. How do you relate with those gadgets? Are you able to control yourself? Do you know when to turn on and turn off? She has talked about the doom scrolling. Are you able? Do you know when and when not? And the third is how you influence or relate with the people that you're in charge of as the last. The first starts with you and your God. The second is with you and the environment. And now it is with you and the people. 1-on-1, 2-on-2, 3-on-3, groups, seeking mentors, seeking people that are going to nurture you, help you become better. And those are the levels that you take up if you want to stand tall, stand strong, and influence. The second principle she has talked about is finding role models. Very important. I tell people, my role model is an ego. And I keep picking principles from an ego. For her role model by then was Venice, right? Venice. Yes, who was the second female guild president at Vienna. That inspired her. That gave her the moral fiber, the moral foundation to believe that actually it can be met. We are human beings. As I said in the start of this episode, and as how we normally say here at the Raw Mind Talk, humans leave clues. And we learn from mimicking. We just have to look around and see who has done it, and then we shall all follow the trends. And that's what she did. Bernice helped her, encouraged her, and in her comfort, she realized that actually I can do it. So let's take a short break and we'll come back, and Vieana will be telling us now how she gets into the leadership now at Vienna, how she does her campaigns. No, actually before that, you'll tell us how that, is it, yeah, what? When you did those exams, which are equivalent to our A level. Yes, year 11. She'll share with us her experience in year 11 and the surprise truth. Because I asked her, what is the craziest thing you've ever done? And you look back and you smile. You'll be surprised what her funniest thing was. Don't go away.